You're live.
We're live.
Oh, you're live. I better get out of here.
We're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the All Over Overland show on Overland Radio. I am Michael. This is Lee. We did things a little different. Lee's actually working on his truck and getting some things buttoned down because he's got a big trip planned and he got a lot of stuff to do. The truck, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. I guess you don't really realize the amount of time and energy it takes to do some of these things until you dive into them. And I'm up here at Chad at Overland Addict, our longest running sponsor and very good friend. And I've actually been crashed. Let's see, all last week I stayed here at their house. And I went home for the weekend, and now I'm back, and I'm down. I got basically the run of the basement. So
very good. You said you mentioned something pretty important in that one.
Hey, you're sporting the Midland hat, and I'm sporting the Midland shirt.
Right on. That? I got my Method Wheels on shirt too.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, I got a new buddy, and here he is. His name is Winston.
Hi, Winston. What are you doing, Winston?
You're gonna get all the viewers.
What you doing, buddy? Yeah.
This is Lee's new best friend right here.
Yeah, man. This dog and I play chase. He ran in, grabbed my flip-flop the other night and took off. And I swear I couldn't catch him. I was out of breath. And we ran around the coffee table and the couch. Every time I tried to go one direction, he'd go the other. And I finally was like, I give up. You can have the flip-flop.
Too funny. Cute little dog. So you like this one better than the ones you have at home?
In some ways.
So I've heard those nightmares. So you're at you're at Chad's right now, but you're putting your truck kind of back together over at his shop, Overland Addict. And what is it you're doing?
So we put the Alucab, the canopy camper, on it. Now I need to make sure I'm clear with this because I don't have the fit kit from Alucab yet and OK 4-wheel drive.
We're going rogue, going off the map.
So Chad and I are just like, we're gonna redneck this up. So we pieced and parted some things together and we got it attached to the truck, but we don't have the back fit kit. So when I'm done, hopefully tomorrow, going back to Tulsa, and I have a metal fabricator who is going to make the two side panels and the bottom piece for me. They're not going to be a permanent fix, but they're going to be something that'll at least get me by. I don't know that it'll be completely dust proof, but I hope it's close.
You'll be fine.
And so we've done that, and then we've got the first goose gear build going into a Nissan with an Alucab. So it's only partial. It's not the full build because they need to build this. I have to build this first part, put it in, and then I have to meet them at Mountain West, and they're going to take measurements so they can finish it out. And then
they're going to do that cool little cell phone or camera thing where it just maps the whole bed of the rest of the truck, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. They did that in the beginning to get the base plate and some of the stuff. But anyway, nonetheless, today was electronics day, and I know that people will laugh at me, but I just don't get the 12-volt thing. I don't get wiring. It's just not my jam.
I don't like messing with wires, man.
It's like, I told Chaz, like, I could fly your $10 million airplane anywhere you want to go, but I can't wire up a camper. It's sad.
I'm right there.
And really, Chad has this like OCD gift where everything has to have like these labels. And anyway, so he's amazing when it comes to that kind of stuff. So he's doing most of that work. I'm kind of like the support guy that at the pit crew at the NASCAR.
You're like, me.
Huh?
You're me, like in normal, like you get to know what it's like to be me.
Yeah, like I'm handing him
Hold the
tools.
flashlight,
Yeah,
be comedic, kind of thing to keep the mood at a a nice even pace.
I know, it's just crazy. So anyway, it's been fun. Chad's wife Leanne, and I mean just the whole family. They're just super nice people, and they've been so warm and welcoming. And just anyway, dude, his wife made this full on like Japanese hibachi thing. They have this big black stone outside. And I mean, she did the egg fried rice, the lo mein, the steak, the chicken, the vegetables. And I mean, dude, it was off the charts.
She's showing off.
And then the night before that, she did this stuff, or 2 nights before that, she did like this stuff tortellini with sausage and roasted potatoes and spinach over some kind of like a vinaigrette. Dude, it was crazy.
Right on.
So it's living. I'm just telling you, it's living. So
Van City Adventures on. Hey. What's going on?
So we're sorry we've missed you guys and haven't been doing the show the last couple of weeks, but man, life has just gotten in the way with me trying to get ready for this trip. Michael and his schedule.
Like a new duct armor thing you're working on.
Yeah, I got this whole new
actual work stuff.
Yeah, funny.
Who'd have thought?
I got a call today, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to do this as soon as you get back." So as soon as I get back, I gotta basically set everything aside for probably half a day and take care of a bunch of other stuff. And of course, you're in Alaska.
So I am in Alaska. So that's one of the things that makes it kind of hard because we're 3 hours different. And it doesn't sound like a lot until you start talking about evening times when normally we would do the show at 8:00. And so that was 8:00 for both of us. We had enough time to get our dinner, to get kind of settled, to go over show notes if we had any, or figure out what the hell we're going to do on the show. And so now for me, that's get off work and hope I don't have a customer that's running late. And then speed home. I don't even get to eat dinner. I get to give Sarah a kiss, say hi to the boys, and then come down and get the show ready. So it's really it's too hard on me. And then it's hard on Lee because it's 9:00. Yeah. And I mean, look at him. He needs to go to bed at about 6:30, 7:30, somewhere in that range, because he's probably up at about 4:00 in the morning going to visit farmers at the local gas station and have coffee. Yeah, he's reached that age.
Yeah, I was up at 4:44 this morning, actually.
Boom. So it makes it kind of hard on the show. So we have a couple different ideas, and we kind of wanted to run it by you guys. And you don't have to give an answer necessarily in the chat right now. But if you'll think about it and send us a message, we'd appreciate it, some feedback on it, because we're not real sure. We had this conversation the other day, and it's just like, man, we're just not real sure what to do because the time difference makes it hard. So one idea is for maybe us to record the show on a different day and then play it on Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. That way we can record it on a weekend, or there's certain days that I'm off during the week every other week. So we could get that taken care of, and then it would just be recorded. It wouldn't be live. I don't know. I mean, some people really like the live feature. I think it's probably used by a quarter of the people that actually watch the show. Because we get quite a few people that watch it after it's aired, and they may get to see the comments that come up, but they don't participate that way.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if that's a deal breaker, or if me going on later works, and then Lee either just does the background stuff for the radio show, trying to get some, more sponsors and more talent, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Podcasters on to fill some of the time voids, or if he does a 30-minute, 15-minute show on his own, so that you guys still get some of that lead time, because there's a lot to be said for lead time.
No. But like Michael said, it would be nice to hear what other people thought, and leave us a message, like you said, and let us know. Do we do a recorded show? Do we move it? The hard part is even moving it days because Michael's days off fluctuate a little bit. So it would be hard, or it would be some type of alternating. Did you see the chat? Cindy. Hey, Cindy's in the room. Thanks for joining us, Cindy.
Or option C. No, option C ain't happening.
Crystal says option C, you move back to Oklahoma. I'd love it if he did, but I also love the fact that he's there, and I think he's getting to live the dream a lot of us would love to live, quite frankly. So I'm super happy for him, and I wouldn't want him to move back unless that was what fit his life. But so yeah, we just have to figure out how we're gonna do this, because like right now it's 9:00. We just started the show, and I'm not saying it's terribly late for me, but it's late enough that it kind of
and the core of our listeners are in the heart of the United States. So the core of our listeners are in your time zone. So with me going on at even 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, would that weed everybody out in that area as far as being live with us? So
good question.
So yeah, I'm not real sure. What'd she say? Something about her beards?
Dueling beards going on there, boys. So
Lee's not shaped it at all, so he's just let it fucking grow.
I know, right? Hey, Cindy,
I've trimmed mine and shaped it and kind of played with it a little bit. So
Cindy, I have to tell you, I was talking to a guy the other day. If you happen to get a call from a guy named Jonathan at Geyser, I was telling him about Northology magazine, and we had a good conversation about some marketing stuff, and I told him to reach out to you. So I hope he does. He's kind of contemplating some new stuff. So it's good that you showed up tonight. Thanks for being in the chat and listening in. And I name dropped you the other day, so hopefully you'll get to hear from him. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
Hey, Crystal, I do have a little bit of a thing to show you. Patreon person, and what did we decide we call just Patreon? She's one of my Patreons. It's just weird. Look what I'm drinking.
Oh, the V8 energy drinks that she brought you.
I love them. I got Molly hooked on them. Sarah already liked them. We've been drinking the pomegranate blueberry. I really like that one.
Oh, nice.
So, chat with the guys who do it. Okay. You guys are having your own conversations. So yeah, we just don't kind of not sure. And then plus, I'll probably start going, not necessarily totally off topic, but there's so much to do here, and overlanding is a small part of what's to do here. There's hiking and mountain biking and kayaking, and Sarah and I are talking about getting into cross-country skiing. And so we're going to obviously always talk about overlanding, but we might add some of those kind of things in because it's what the adventure life is up here. There's not a ton of open remote areas here, and it could be part of the being in the peninsula. It could be most of Alaska. I mean, there's like places right off the side of the road where you can camp, so maybe that's just what it is. This weekend I will be doing my first solo camping trip. I'm going to be going to Quartz Creek campground and checking out the campground, and I'm pretty sure it's close to the spot where everybody videos themselves camping at Cooper Landing, which is the big, beach kind of area. That's right there on the lake. Several people have camped there for multiple nights. I think I found it on the map, and so I'll go explore probably that morning and find it, and just make sure I get a waypoint on it and all that kind of stuff, and then go back there another time. But my buddy here, Justin Works, had a camping pass for this campsite and wasn't going to be able to use it because his brother's in town, and I guess they've decided not to go camping. So he was like, "Hey, dude, do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah, I do. I got to get it." So yeah, so that's going to happen this weekend. Pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
It
man.
was 69
Are you,
degrees.
wait, are you prepared? You
Not,
got your,
but it's
you
a campsite. It's not a. It's they'll probably be other people.
oh,
around.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
going to be a completely out of the way, all by myself, nothing
I
around
wish
me.
I wish you're going to be here to go on our trip for 10 days out to Mountain West. And you know who's going with us?
Who's going with you?
AJ Williams is going with us, and he's riding his
Oh,
adventure bike.
yeah. And is it a Ducati adventure bike?
I think it's a Ducati, yeah. And so,
What in the world?
all right,
Craziness.
put this into perspective now. There's
Okay.
Chad in his trailer, me, and I may or may not have the trailer, and then AJ on his bike. So either AJ is going to have to lead us because otherwise we're going to dust him to bits and pieces back there behind us. But the cool part is for AJ, since I have the Audi cab on now, that means I can sleep in my truck and he could sleep in that Rome tent on the trailer. So he doesn't have to sleep on the ground. So that's a
That
cool
piece
thing.
of
But
shit rooftop tent you got.
I hate that thing. But I will say this: I wish you were here to go do the trip with us because
It'd be fun.
It would. I wish you were here to do it, but at the same time,
maybe if my mom wins that $1 billion lottery that's going around.
Look, there's AJ. He's listening in.
That's AJ. So my mom sends me a message about the last time that it was at $1 billion. She goes, "Hey, if I win this $1 billion lottery, are you coming back to Oklahoma?" And I said, "Mom, if you win $1 billion lottery, we're going to have homes in Alaska and wherever else in the 48, lower 48 that you want." But
amen to that,
I
brother.
mean, I'm always gonna like. This place is so amazing that even if Sarah and I decide later on to move back to the lower 48 or wherever, we're seriously talking about buying some land somewhere and putting a cabin on it.
Yeah. And you got those new cabins at work that make perfect little, weekend retreats or short term. Yeah, those are perfect.
Yeah. I mean, people live in the cabins that we put out there year round, so they're possible to live year round. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of this is a place that you can't escape. I don't think if you move back, you're always going to be drawn back to wanting to come see because there's nothing like it, man.
I'm just happy you're going to get to actually go out and camp. I mean, you've had a lot of little short trips up there in and out, and you've had kids.
Yeah, I've had day trips and exploring trips and stuff like that. And then when Amanda was in town, we took Molly down to Seward and we camped out there. But I mean, it was at a KOA. So I've gone out and stayed in the rooftop tent. But yeah, we've just been trying to explore a lot of things as a group. And with the rooftop tent's only 2 people. And the boys are, they're going to want to either be in the rooftop tent or everybody's going to have to be in the ground tent. And we just haven't done that yet. And we were going to take the trailer out last weekend, but the boys weren't feeling good. Sarah wasn't feeling good. I was I don't know what was going on with me. And Sarah kind of felt the same way. It wasn't like she was sick. We just felt like, And the boys, I think the boys might have been sick because they slept like most of the day one day and craziness. They never do. So we didn't get to go do that. We were going to take that down to Homer and stay right at the entrance of the spit. And so that was going to be cool.
Tell this story.
How's the
AJ? Yeah.
Diesel is cheaper than unleaded.
That's crazy.
Diesel, I think, was $4.18 and unleaded was $4.25. When I sent that picture to you, 39.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay. Yeah. And that's one of the more kind of expensive places. I usually try to go to a place called Three Bears. There's one by work. There's one in Kenai, and it's a Shell pump. And if you have a Shell card or a Shell number, you get 5 cents off or something. What did middle finger?
That was the middle finger because it's cheaper to buy diesel in Alaska than it is to buy it here in the States. Meaning,
is the diesel cheaper?
No, the diesel's more here than it is than unleaded is. But there, It's
Yeah.
less
Here the unleaded's more expensive than diesel. It's weird.
it really is kind of strange, but I think Alaska runs on diesel because all those trucks going up and down the road and all that
Well,
stuff.
I tend to think it's still tourist season, so I tend to think it's because most vehicles in this area are
Good point.
running regular, and so there's a higher demand.
Yeah.
I think probably right now for the gas, because a lot of your RVs really are the smaller RVs are gas.
Okay, so switch it up here. I got to ask the question. What's your first impression of the Land Cruiser?
My first impression was I kind of would like one. My first impression when I saw it, because I like that boxy look. I like that squared off boxy kind of look.
It reminds me of the FJ, the last generation of the FJ.
It reminds me a bit of a Big Samurai.
Yeah, it does kind of remind you of a Big Samurai. I can't
like
get
Samurai and Renegade. The Jeep Renegade had a baby.
Yeah, that's funny.
And it grew up bigger than them. Like they were two midgets and they had a kid that was normal size.
So what do you think about the new Lexus?
I really like the new Lexus.
I really like the new Lexus too.
Now, if they could have made the Land Cruiser more like the 70 series, and I think they tried. I think that's a mixture of, or that's a middle of what the 70 looks like and what the old Land Cruiser or a restyled Land Cruiser may look like. And they just kind of met in the middle for the United States one.
It's crazy. Like Graham Bell posted a deal about the 70 series that they released the day after they released the Land Cruiser here.
Yeah.
But they released that 70 series. And, basically even he said that we should have that. It should just be globally and just be one body. Even
if you got to put a gasoline engine in that stupid thing, just do the one body
I know.
And fix the rear end bullshit with it being narrower than the front on the 70s.
My first impression of it, I'm not a real big fan yet. I don't hate it.
I saw one with some aftermarket goodies on it. Nothing crazy, not like bumpers and stuff like that, but just kind of some things to make it look a little more like what Americans would buy at the store or at the dealership, with black rims and shit like that. And It looked pretty sharp. It looked pretty damn sharp.
I think people will mod them to a point where they'll start to really come around and they'll look a little more appealing.
I think it's a good play on. I want to know what they're going to do with the 4Runner because that's the price point of the 4Runner.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Or it's just maybe a little bit above what the 4Runner is.
So it's kind of funny because even Chad and I were talking about these, while we're working on the truck. And I mean, he's the same kind of way. It's kind of but the Lexus he likes a lot too. But here's something, when you go in Chad's shop at Overland Attic, there's a big TV on the wall and it plays 4-wheel drive 24/7. Those guys from Australia, it's always playing on this TV. And so I sat down today and we were watching it while we were eating lunch. And one of these guys is wheeling a Nissan Patrol. And it looks like the Pathfinder, kind of. Mm-hmm. But our version of a Patrol is the Armada, but this had the front end of like the Pathfinder or your truck, kind of that front end. And so I started looking around on the web and I was like, wonder what it'd cost to get. I figured it would be cheaper to import one of those than it would be like your Toyota FJ Cruisers or something like that.
Dude,
I was wrong.
Were you mistaken?
A 1992 was going to cost like $62,000. And I was like,
now I will tell you that Hine has a person. And you can buy a used Patrol, 25 years old,
Right.
He was trying to tell me, and this was before the pandemic got crazy. Like this was right before the pandemic. Whenever I was kind of thinking about getting a new vehicle, and then I was going to get a new vehicle, and then so he was like, you can get one for about $4,000 and then put $4,500 into it at the place that can rebuild the motor and transmission if needed, all that stuff. And then we were talking about sharing a container and him packing it full of quick pitch stuff and that truck and shipping it up. He's like, dude, so $9,000, $10,000,
That's palatable.
That, and I was like, man, if I had the cash, but you would have to have the cash to do that. You couldn't get a loan on it.
Yeah.
Or at least I wasn't going to at the time. So, but yeah, so it's possible, but yeah, to get probably somebody that's actually a importer and dealing with like the best ones that you can find. Yeah, 62,000 probably is right.
Yeah. Hey, here's a good question from AJ. When you're out hiking or camping, what do you carry, or is it really overrated about what we hear about bears in Alaska?
I just carry spray. I don't have my driver's license yet for Alaska, so I can't go buy a pew pew.
Yeah.
And so
I kind of think it's a little bit overrated. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of people. If you look at a lot of the YouTubers out there that have, because I've watched a ton of them that have hiked or that have biked or that have camped or whatever, most of them just have bear spray. And then talking with Craig, like a couple of weeks ago, he was like, most of the time the bear spray comes back and it hasn't been even taken out of its stuff. Like they weren't even worried enough to take it out. But everybody asked about it.
I've heard that, and that's why I think maybe it's. I guess there's always that possibility, obviously, but yeah, I wonder if it's really quite that bad. Hey, Jeremiah's in here. Hey, Jeremiah, how you doing?
And I think I heard that brown bear season opens up on Thursday.
Just for you, Olivia.
So brown bear season opens up on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, the bear spray thing, I think for the most part that would I think I would take care of them. Just remember which way the wind's blowing when you spray it. Or at least try to, right?
Yeah.
That would be helpful. So
and all of the things that I've hiked so far have been fairly popular. Like there's been people passing me and stuff like that. So we haven't done the big long hikes or anything like that yet.
I also think just using good common sense is probably the best part. Don't leave your food laying out on the table, obviously, and things like that. I think
make noise. They're going to try to avoid you. The only time something happens is when you sneak up on them.
Have you seen so on Instagram especially, there's the one where somebody posts a video and it's the little kid and he goes, bullshit, that kind of thing. You know what I'm talking? Somebody posted a video. Yeah. Somebody posted a video of a bear charging, and this guy's going, in most cases, don't run from the bear, stand there. They do that's called a false charge or something.
Yeah, just stand there. Look him in the eye.
And then last minute they'll turn off, and then it jumps to this little kid. He's like, bullshit, bullshit. And so,
usually I think if they charge it, they stop way before that.
Yeah, I think
like
if one of those charges,
it's a pretty big bluff. Like they say that someone was telling me you shouldn't use bear spray or shoot them until they're within 6 yards or something like that.
See, that's you're in my personal space.
Yeah. And I think they said 6. I think they said 6 feet, but I'm thinking I watched another video where they were like, if you've got a bear that's acting funny, you can actually spray a line like this in front of you and just start going back. And as they come to you, they'll get into that and they'll usually run off.
Interesting. Okay.
So you can spray it as like a barrier, not necessarily just, but then again, you could just piss them off. So I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a couple of PPUs that I'm looking at. One would be like a 10 millimeter pistol, and then the what is the Keltec? What do they call it? The something pump shotgun underneath.
Yeah.
So, and it's short.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons.
I think just being, cognizant of your surroundings.
And like that's why I contacted Chad. You were probably standing there next to him because it was this week. And I said, hey, I need to talk to you about is it a Deemer box, the radio?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about it and see if you can, if you're able to ship one to me and what's going to cost. I'd like to go through Chad, if I can get it shipped and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, it might just be I like playing music, and music's another one of those things that if you got some noise you can't, they're not going to come around you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, they might smell something and start coming in, but as soon as they hear all that nonsense, they're like, no, not going that way. He's got, Soundgarden playing. That sounds scary. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll eventually get something as a backup. I don't think you'll have to. I just don't think you'll have to worry too terribly much. So, but
yeah, I joked around with Justin, and Justin works, and he said, he'd been here 2 years, maybe 3, and he was like, I'm paying to go see bears. Like, I've lived here for 2 years, and I am paying somebody to fly me out to go see bears.
Really?
That's how not often you see a bear.
That's crazy.
And then the same weekend that he was doing that, or maybe supposed to do that, was the first time I saw a black bear. And Molly was with us. So that was pretty cool. Picked up a Judge 410.
Yeah. Just be careful. You'll break your wrist if you're not careful.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So yeah, that, I picked up a new mountain bike. I got a Trek Marlin 7. So I used to ride quite a bit in Oklahoma. I had 1 season I participated in our local mountain bike race series. So I used to ride quite a bit. I've done Hotter Than Hell, which is a 100-mile bike ride. Okay, I got 75 miles of it, so didn't finish the whole thing, but still.
Jeremiah wants to know where you're at.
Well, I'm talking, so he can wait. I'm in Alaska, fool. So there's a mountain bike trail system here. And so I went and checked it out and just kind of walked it and looked at it. But I'm waiting for the new, I've got it's like one portion of the bed tailgate that has the thing that goes over the back that holds the bike. Yeah. I didn't want the whole thing. I found one that's for 1 or 2 bikes. So I'm getting that. That should be here the next week or so. And once I get that, then I'll start taking the bike out, because it's a big bike. I mean, it doesn't fit underneath in the bed without taking the seat down and taking the tire off.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to doing that and photographing and making videos of that as well. And then looking at possibly getting into the racks that they have, and maybe even doing a couple of overnights with it.
Nice. That would be fun.
Yeah, let's say it's a big place. So I am in the Kenai Peninsula. We'll just say I'm in that Kenai Sadaltna area. So if you're in the area, this is kind of where I'm at. And if you're coming through, then let me know, and we'll try and meet up.
There's Chad. He's He's upstairs.
Watching. He should be sitting right next to you.
I know. I figured he'd come down here and hang out, or come back. But I think his mother-in-law's here too. So
Okay.
He needs to spend time with his family, so
Sure.
that's
Sure.
important. Yeah, that's important. Jeremiah's not going to Mountain West. Oh, well.
Oh, hey, and then everybody, I won. Donald from Soft Roading the West was having a giveaway. Basically, you said the name of the company, which is like Helion, I think, or something like that.
Mhm.
A rope light that comes into, it's kind of like the tape measure that you wind up, like the big long one for construction, basically, and you wind it up. It comes like that, and that's what's been part of the lighting behind us. It is this right here, and it has a ton. And this isn't even all of it. I'll just keep pulling on it. But it has a ton of light to it. And then I just got it connected to one of my phone chargers to power it.
There you go.
Because it doesn't take much power. I mean, it's all LED.
Are you going to take those and put them on your ostrich wing?
I don't know exactly. See, I'm pulling on it and still pulling more out. I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it. I haven't completely decided. It may just kind of go wherever it's needed because it's so easy to move around.
Chad put some on his ostrich. He put some little LED strip lights that were pretty cool. That they're not flexible like that. I think they're a little bit more rigid, but man, they do a good job of lighting up underneath that big ostrich.
So mine came with a row of LED lights to go in the channel.
Okay.
One of the poles. I just haven't connected it because I'm gonna have to wire it.
Got it. Okay.
There's the rub. There's what Lee and Michael are not able to do is a simple wiring job.
I swear, I'm telling you, Chad's like this wiring god, maybe would be the word, but
mine would be wrapping around the A-pillar to get inside of the vehicle, and then wrapping around the and down the hood on the outside. Everybody else would be like, "Why didn't you just run it through the hole in the firewall?" And I'm like, "What are you talking? I don't know."
I mean,
how do you do that?
Literally, Chad. If it wasn't for Chad, I'm not sure that I could get it done. I mean,
who did it for you before?
I'd probably burn down the truck. Literally, I'd probably.
But did you not have all this wiring in it when it was on the Colorado?
No, I didn't have. I just used a portable, portable station and plugged it in and had some. But I mean, now it's to the point. Well, I mean, you got to think. I'm not just putting lights in there. I got Starlink's going to go in there and it's being converted from AC to DC 12 volt. I have a Raspberry Pi, a 7-inch touchscreen, a gigabit switch.
You got Leanne made you a Raspberry Pi? What?
No, Raspberry Pi. It's a computer that's going to attach to a 7-inch touchscreen that will display, Doppler radar, weather, or from the.
Oh my gosh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Or when we're doing a show like a podcast recording, it'll display some of the live.
When you're doing one.
Well, you're going to do it eventually.
Okay, we'll see how often we get that going.
I mean, next year when I come to Alaska, we got to hang out for a while.
You better come up here. You better bring all that shit with you, I guess.
So I have all this stuff in there. I got a gigabit switch. He's hardwiring in the fridge. Listen, he understands it and I don't. And I watch what he's doing and he starts talking and he'll say something and I'm like, okay. And he goes, or we could do it this way. And I'm like, okay. Well, if it was yours, what would you do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my dad. My dad's that way. My dad's a very Chad-like. Chad's very dad-like for me because my dad has no problems jumping in and rewiring anything. Like he would fix a TV. That mom and I were like, we're getting a new TV. And he'd take the back off and get this little bitty thing, go to Radio Shack, come back and solder it in. And the TV works just fine. Now we're pissed.
Well, I'm telling you this. If you're anywhere around the Midwest and you want somebody to install all your electronic and wiring stuff, solar, whatever, he is definitely the guy.
Now that we're giving him all of this all these props, I hope he already has a per hour rate picked out to do wiring for everybody's stuff.
Yeah, he does. He's got an hourly rate, but I mean, he's got that big lift in there now, and
Oh yeah,
and rumor has it he may have a new forklift or new to him forklift before too long, so he can lift those alu calves and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, that's needed, for sure. Yeah. But well, cool. So you got getting the truck ready, and then you got to pack it up, and then you got a long road trip. Now, are you doing the road trip camping on your way there, or are you going to get there to the expo and then camp after, or a little bit of both?
So we're going to camp on the way out for 4 days, I think. We'll camp along the way. Some Oklahoma Panhandle, some of it will be New Mexico, and the rest Colorado. And then we'll stay at Mountain West for a day or two, I'm guessing. And then after that, we're going to leave. Now, Chad has to get back. He has a certain time frame. I, on the other hand, I don't think I'm coming back. I think what I'm going to do is stay out there and fish and camp some. And Chad, from living the van life, he and I may take a detour and do some fishing somewhere.
So, probably more jealous about that than all.
Yeah, I think that would be. I mean, Chad. Here's the thing: everybody needs a Chad in their life, and we happen to have like 3 of them. We have Chad here, we have Chad living the van life, and we have Chad up here in Kansas. So I mean, you and I are pretty fortunate because we have 3.
We're cool chatting. Yeah, we got a bunch of low-hanging Chads.
We have 3 cool Chads. Everybody needs a Chad.
And I mean low-hanging in the nicest possible way.
See, Sydney's married to a Chad, so she has a Chad.
Yeah, everybody thought that having a little Chad on you was not a good thing, but I guess having a little Chad, don't burn it all. Keep it.
I'm gonna go out with one Chad and come back with a different one. Oh, geez. It's so, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I wish.
And are you getting some Prinsu stuff on it?
I won't have it on beforehand.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're going to make that work or not.
I won't have it on there beforehand. I'd like to just drive up to their place and just say, here, do it. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do before the Prinsu stuff or the CBI stuff is I'm probably going to make a trip to Lincoln, Nebraska, to All Dogs Off-Road. Now that I have the canopy on, it did squat the truck a little bit, not much, but just a little bit.
All Dogs.
Yeah, and so I think I'm going to go hang out with the guys at another Chad.
Another Chad. Hot dog.
With All Dogs Off-Road. You know what? We're going to do a show one night, and we're going to call it It's All About Chad.
Chad.
And we're just going to talk about all the Chads in our life.
Yeah.
So anyway, and get them to do the suspension. I've come to the realization that I don't think I'm going to do the Titan swap. So I'm probably just going to stick with a 33, almost a 34, and call it good. I don't take it places where I think I need anything more. So that'll probably be the next thing.
And I've started kicking around the idea of doing the Titan swap.
Have you? I hope you do.
I don't know. I mean, because it just depends on what I do. So if I order the stuff from All Dogs for the front end, because the backs, I mean, I'm sitting funny, but the back's up a little higher than the front. And so, but if I drive down to Nebraska, I mean, if I'm driving down there, if I'm going to go ahead and drive down there, I mean, if I'm driving down there, then maybe I drive down there and I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. It'd be probably next year.
I love our chat. So Christina Says all the Chads. Cindy goes, I like your Chattitude.
She's so good for the witty banter. Love it.
I know. Chad,
what lift are you running? You're stock, and I'm running all dogs. The parabolics in the back.
Yeah,
and then I think it's Old Man Emu up front. That's just tired.
Yeah, I haven't changed anything on the Frontier yet, but that's what when I get to all dogs, I'm gonna let them do everything. I need to get that little bit of a rake back on it too, because now that it's squatted just a little bit, it doesn't look bad by any means. But
dude, I've been getting such good gas mileage. It's crazy.
What are you getting?
Like 14.
Nice.
For me, that was good. Because at home, I was getting like 12.6, 12.6.
Yeah, I think it has a little bit to do with it.
Here's the reason. I ain't running the air conditioner.
That's exactly what I was
run the AC. I think one time, and that was Sarah. Like, it's a tad warm. Can we please turn it on?
Yeah,
and roll it.
No, that's what I was about to say. You're not running the air conditioner, so you have cooler temperatures. So I was getting 22 and some change before the Alucab, and I'm getting 19.2 to 19.5 right now. Now, here's the thing. Once I go to the bigger tires and things like you have, I'm probably going to drop that down a little bit more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But.
It's part of the game, man.
It is.
You want it life easier, right. You get a diesel.
Yeah. If only we could get something with diesels around here besides. Well,
she's getting 18 miles per gallon.
Wait, what?
On stock tires, right? Stock lift. Do you have lift on it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Chad. Those tires.
Yeah, and my tires are heavy.
Yeah,
those Geolanders.
She's all stock. So Cindy says she's still stocking her Nissan. So
yeah, whenever I was stocking my Nissan, I was getting that 17 to 19 running around. So
yeah,
and then
I think it does make it. It does make the difference.
Well, think about when we went to Mountain West a couple of years ago. I had the new tires.
Yeah.
And that was it. I didn't have a lift. I guess I did have my quick pitch then. So I had the rack and the lift. So I had everything on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was pulling that trailer, that gosh awful lead weight of a trailer. So heavy. Couldn't believe how massive this thing needed me to drive to the Opus thing. No, it was the Opie Light, so it was the little one. Or the Opie 2.
You had the light. Chad says he gets his Toyota gets 23, but we'll get to 11 to 12. Yeah, I'm sure it will, depend on how hard he's hitting that.
Yeah.
AJ says he has the diesel, but he has to ride with people on trails because a lot of places do not allow side-by-sides. Oh. Yeah. Where did I see I saw an article on a side-by-side that somebody had TDI swapped a side-by-side. They took a Volkswagen TDI and put it in a side-by-side. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, but.
Don't they make little bitty diesels?
Yeah, they're like 1.9 liter. They're small, but they're torquey little suckers. You put a little bit bigger turbo. There's a whole cult following of TDI swap Toyota trucks, the older Toyota trucks, and they've swapped them over to Volkswagen TDIs out of Jettas, Volkswagen Jettas.
Yeah, yeah. Which somebody was like, why in the hell would you put an unreliable motor inside a perfectly reliable vehicle? Because they were dogging on the Volkswagen.
Dude, Volkswagens.
I think all that comes from the whole Volkswagen screwing up the fuel rating stuff and lying about stuff. But it didn't mean their vehicles didn't.
Even then, they were still reliable. I think a lot of people think about those old air-cooled.
What's going on upstairs?
Those old air-cooled flat ones that were in the old buses and, the old
vehicles,
those things.
The lawnmower motors.
Yeah. Sewing machine motors or whatever. Those are pretty bad, but these TDIs that are in the Porsches and the Volkswagens, you can't hardly kill them.
Gotcha. Well, cool. So yeah, I've got a big camping trip coming up this weekend. And I may have to put like the clutch in when it comes to some of the videos, because I probably need to go out and get just some stuff to work on over the winter and put out videos this winter. Or I don't know. I don't know. I want to spend more time in the editing and get better at that part of it. So
slow down on the videos and just post Instagram.
Well, I think I'll do shorts. I think I'm going to have, shorts that will be out there, and there'll be some of some videos probably. And I get too impatient. So whenever I get back, I've already, right when I walk in the door, I go to the computer, I start downloading stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to get the truck unloaded, and then I come to the computer and sit there and put them in like the order that I want to edit them in. And then I go back out to the truck, and then I get distracted and come back in, and I'm getting, something to drink, and I walk in the computer room, and now I'm working on it again. And next thing I know, I've got it uploaded, and I haven't even emptied the truck out from camping.
Wow. Well,
so yeah, when I was talking to Tyler about it, he was like, well, how long does it take you to edit? And I was like, 30 minutes. He's like, dude, I take at least 3 hours. At least, minimum. I was like,
AJ wants to know how you're adapting to the light darkness thing.
It's really not, the light hasn't bothered me at all. So, and we just got some blackout curtains, and the really only reason why we got blackout curtains is because it got kind of hot the other day, and we needed in our window panes on our bedroom are single panes, so they're not really energy efficient. So that's why we got the blackout curtains. They hadn't bothered us at all, the light. It just now started getting dark gray.
Yeah.
At around 12:30, 2 o'clock in that time frame. But yeah, here pretty soon it'll start switching to where it'll get darker.
Yeah. So Jeremiah has some good advice. I think this is good advice. Take your time, walk away from it for a while.
Yeah, and that's what I need to do.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you do that, it helps your creativity, maybe, because your brain has time to process, and you think of different ways to approach it. So that's good advice. Take your time and walk away from it a while.
Yeah. And I think with all the videos, I think I'm going to start off with at least, because it's the hard part about filming your camping experience, your camping trip, is that unless you have like, this is the mission that we're going on, you don't have the mission other than I'm just going to go find a camping spot.
Yeah.
And that is harder to tell a story with.
Agreed.
You're just randomly going out. So like this next campsite, this next weekend or this weekend coming up, it's my first camp in Arkansas. So that's Arkansas, man, in Alaska. Don't even know where the Arkansas came. I did that the other day too. It'll be my first solo camp in Alaska. And I may say something about, so that'll be part of the mission, and finding that campsite.
Yeah.
That everybody says this is the Cooper Landing campsite. I haven't decided, like, entitling it, what direction I need to go with it, but I want to get that at least figured out before I go. And then the dang meteor shower is supposed to be on Saturday night, and I'm not camping until Sunday night. So I may have to make it a 2-nighter if it gets dark enough for us to even see like 100 meteors falling per hour or something crazy.
Damn.
On the evening of the 12th.
Cindy says finding camp during your first solo camp sounds like a story.
Yeah. If it was finding camp, this is reservations at the campsite.
Jeremiah says he's in the middle of his second Newfoundland episode and has walked away from it 3 days in a row. And yeah, I think Jeremiah's right. There's times that when I'm working on like a website or something like that I just have to, I just minimize that particular screen and go on and do something else for a day or so, and then I'll come back to it, and there's a little bit of new creativity that you somehow find. So I think it's
I mean, I totally agree. That's what I should do. But the reality is I get too excited about it.
Yeah. No, you're ready to,
I want to get it out there. And so that's just my own inner demons I have to work on. Basically.
That's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, we're coming up about on an hour. It's almost 10 o'clock here. I'm exhausted. I've been, like I said, 4:44. So I think we should call it.
Sounds like you're a big old baby. Big old
I am. Not gonna lie. I'm old.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. And Lee, I was hoping that we'd get the Frontier in the background, but I understand it's late there, and so we needed to step away, just like what we've been talking about. Probably just need to step away from that thing for a little while.
Cindy says it best: when she steps away, she forgets what she's doing. No,
right there with you. Right there with you. So we've got fishing report. They're expecting another 1 million salmon to come through.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're gonna be eating salmon.
They have the first run that happens in maybe June, and then they'll have that. They'll have a run, and then they'll have dip net season, which is fascinating. Can't wait to do that. You have to live here for a year before you can do it. So dip net season, where all the local Alaskans, and that's every part of Alaska comes here. Like, this place gets mad. It is crazy. There are people camping on the side of the road. There's like all kinds of craziness. And the number of people that are Alaskans that are here because it's they do this to get their fill of salmon for the year.
Yeah.
So people from Fairbanks and wherever come and spend a week and just fish the shit out of it.
That's crazy.
And get their limits usually pretty quick. So there was the other day I was talking, and it was in between the two cycles of salmon that come through.
Right.
And my neighbor was like, they still got 150, 190,000 fish swimming through a day. And then he said, and he was like freaking out, saying they're expecting another 1 million fish to come through here. And they just raised the limits on, I think it's sockeye. So they've doubled the limit that you can catch.
That means conservation is working. So that's good.
Well, they're just able to see the numbers. They got sonar down there. And so they're using that sonar, and they're counting the fish as they come through.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all automated, and there's not somebody going, 1, 2, 3, that kind of, like I would think. We're going to count fish. Okay, well, let's start counting.
It's all AI.
Yeah. And so they're able to tell the numbers. Last year, the numbers were kind of low. But another thing is the salmon will actually go, and they'll go right off the coast of Russia for about 3 years. After they're born, after they make it back down the river, they go to Russia off the coast somewhere in the ocean for about 3 years before they come back. So every 3 years, it's a new cycle of
makes sense
salmon. So, 1 million fish are going to come through here.
Damn.
Right?
Damn. All right. Well,
hey, Lee, thank you so much for everything that you do. You didn't really do anything.
I didn't do anything.
But sit here with me, and I do appreciate that. Everybody, just let us know what you think about time change, recording versus live, me doing this by myself and Lee doing something else, or being the mastermind behind all of it. So, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. It seems like we've had a pretty good crowd all throughout the show. So, you guys, I'm sorry, but the weather is perfect here in Alaska, and I love you and miss you so much. Whatever you do, make sure that you continue to always go all over.